I just wanted the glow. The one that they promised you on the cover of those magazines. Well, I'm calling it. Pregnancy sucks. Making a human being is really hard. I have no control over my body or my emotions. Scare Bear, I'm sorry. All I want to do is punch you in the face.
Hello and welcome to What the Flick. It is baby time because we are talking about what to expect when you're expecting. I'm Alonzo, that's Christy, who's actually had a baby, and that's Matt, who hasn't actually seen the movie, but he's here.
But I want to eat a baby.
Okay then.
So what to expect when you're expecting. This is sort of a launching pad from the book, which every woman's read, since the dawn of time with a baby in their belly. It's not
that
really.
Book is not that old.
1985. It just feels like it's been around forever. I actually didn't read it. I did not read it.
You had no idea what to expect.
I said, why am I getting so fat?
She didn't want spoilers.
In fact, this is a little known fact. Christy didn't even realize she was pregnant.
I didn't. It just dropped out of me at prom. But this is sort of like He's Just Not That Into You, in that they take a nonfiction book and they spin out of it all these, fictional characters with intertwined lives. Basically, Cameron Diaz, Jennifer Lopez, Anna Kendrick, Brooklyn Decker, and Elizabeth Banks all get pregnant at the same time, and madcap hilarity ensues. Take
Is
a
it
look.
by the same guy?
But that'd be awesome. They all did it with Matthew Morrison. He's a stud.
When you call me Big Papa, throw your hands in the air if you's a true player. I love it when you call me Big Papa. To the honeys getting money, playing fellas like dummies. I love it when you call me Big
You drop your kid off a changing table?
Stuff just happens, okay? Last week, my kid ate a cigarette.
I caught him playing in the dryer yesterday. I picked up the wrong baby from daycare.
Found my baby swimming in the toilet. No judging.
Jennifer Lopez doesn't actually get pregnant.
Jennifer Lopez does not get
She's
pregnant.
adopting.
Yes, she's adopting. So yeah, they try to show the many faces of pregnancy: women who desperately want it, women who get pregnant by accident. There are a few moments of honesty here, but for the most part, it is really reductive, sitcom-y, cliche pregnancy, like all romantic comedies depict pregnancy.
Yeah, the weird thing is that I thought the few times I thought this movie was working was when it wasn't trying to be funny. Like, I thought the Jennifer Lopez stuff about the adoption was kind of movingly presented and interestingly told.
But she did wear fake eyelashes to go get the baby from Ethiopia.
Well,
did you notice that?
Jennifer Lopez would. Who wouldn't? And then you got to make that first impression, And then I thought there's a subplot about somebody who loses their child, and I thought that was actually handled with some sensitivity. And so there's sort of like an interesting drama dying to get out from under all these awful, like, hacky sitcom cliches that are going on here, because the wacky stuff is so not funny.
Right, and then there's the moment where Elizabeth Banks, who owns this breastfeeding boutique, has to give a big speech in front of a bunch of pregnant women, and she's like fixing to pop out. Like, she's in her third trimester, she's miserable, and she realizes, okay, what I'm gonna say on my cards is bullshit, and here's how I really feel, and there are some nuggets of honesty in there as well. But even in that moment, it's a kind of like vulnerable big speech that only happens in a movie.
Yes. Well, plus the fact that I didn't buy that she wouldn't realize that everything on her note cards was bullshit until the moment that she started giving that speech.
Right.
By that
It's
point,
opportune.
by that point in the movie, she knows that that's all bullshit, and so it was a very contrived moment, and then the response to that also felt super contrived. And yeah, there's just a lot. Although did you go to the screening on Monday?
I went at Lionsgate.
Okay, I don't know what they put in the popcorn. I was in a packed house at the Century City, and people were loving this thing. And like every predictable, stupid thing that would happen, they'd be like, "Oh no,"
Was
and
there
like
a lot of women at your screening?
Yes.
Okay.
But nonetheless, I think women are smarter than this movie.
I think so
Au
too.
contraire, mon frère.
Okay.
I think so too. As
No, but
somebody
you
who is fine.
have a working uterus, so I take your opinion
So
on
we're
this
here.
At least one time it worked. Yes.
more than anything. But yeah, so you also found it to be totally phony.
No, I did, and it bums me out because I am not a chick flick person ordinarily, and this is a topic that I actually do think you can find some honesty and truth in, and they don't. And they sacrifice truth for being crowd pleasing.
Yeah, this movie made me long for the emotional honesty of Think Like a Man.
I did not hate Think Like a Man.
I didn't
had
either.
fun.
But I'm just saying, as far as movies based on nonfiction books about,
That's true.
This was just so. just called malarkey on it so many times. There's so many moments. It's like, no.
And I really like
no.
Anna Kendrick. I think she's so
She's
cute.
terrific.
Has this great accessibility to her, and she and Chase Crawford have some nice flirty moments with each
absolutely.
other.
I never thought much of him as an actor, but I think he, either she pulls him up to her level or whatever. But yeah, they were great to watch together. But a lot of talent. Okay, I do want to call this. Is there a Bridesmaids curse? Because there's 4 people from Bridesmaids that were in that shitty Friends with Kids movie.
Right.
It was unbearable. And now we have 3 more different Bridesmaids people in this movie.
Okay, who we have?
Rebel
Ben
Wilson,
Falcone.
Ben Falcone, and Wendy McClendon-Covey.
Yes.
And it's like, again, so I'm calling it now. Be on the lookout for the next time these people show up in a movie. There's a Bridesmaids curse that, you were in this awesome comedy. The next movie that you're in that comes out is going to suck on toast.
That's a bummer. All right, I like your theory, though. We'll have to track that from now on. Okay, so let's do numbers.
I give it a 2.6.
I give it a 3.7. That's a 6.3 for the two of us, which averages out to 3.1. I did that all by myself. Yeah, no, it bums me out. Does it bum you out as a man, as a dad?
No.
There's a dad's group too. Let me mention really fast. There's
Oh,
a
the
dad's
dads,
group. If the
yes.
movie had been about the dad's group, it would have been so much better. Like the second that Chris Rock shows up and starts riffing on fatherhood, you get the idea of like, oh, this is what it could have been like.
But even some of that stuff, like the Thomas Lennon stuff in that was sort of like, I don't think his agent has ever turned down a role where we want Thomas Lennon to play vaguely gay or like actual gay. Oh yeah, I'll take it no matter what. And it just, I don't know. The Chris Rock, some of the Chris Rock observations were funny, and I'm sure he made them up.
I was
And
gonna
they
say
were
it
not
sounds
in
like
the
it sounds
script.
like his stand-up.
Yeah. But
He helped write the book.
He has kids.
But even the dad's group stuff, I thought a lot of it was really just kind of.
Okay, so for moms or dads, either one, this kind of sucks.